today we're going to get started drawing a snowflake, and we're going to use lines of different sizes as well as patterns, but the patterns may end up coming later. So the first thing you're going to do is grab a pencil, and snowflakes always have 6 arms. So I'm just going to kind of, with a pencil, I'm going to use a Sharpie so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and do an arm that goes that way, and then I'm going to do a V on the top and a V on the bottom. And if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we've got those 6 arms. Now the other thing that you can do is add some details. So I may decide that I want something like that, and I want a dot at each of the ends. And I can do that all the way around. This is what's called a radial design or radial symmetry, when we do the same thing all the way around a circle. But we don't need to get too fancy now, just short and long lines in a line design. And then I want to decide what I want to do here. So I think in between, I am actually going to go out and then back in, out and then back in. Should end up looking like a star a little bit by the time I'm done. Out and back in, out and in, and out and in. Okay, so once you're done with your basic design, what you're gonna do is grab another tool. I like to use Sharpie marker for this, but you know, if you've got crayons or something, that's fine, and we're gonna do our basic outline. So what that means, and I'm just gonna use a different color so you can see I'm coming around my edges with a marker, kind of like you would do bubble letters. Now this is going to take a little bit of time to do because you really want to take your time and have good craftsmanship. That just means it really looks like you took your time. And I gotta tell you guys, I have a really difficult time with straight lines, so I am trying to go somewhat slow so that I can get this. Oh, that one just went a little bit outside of the lines. All right, now after that I can come in and add those extra details. So I'm just gonna come around those lines and do this all the way around. It's going to feel a little bit repetitive, but the good thing is practice makes perfect. And since you'll be practicing this quite a bit, it's going to start to look really, really good. I didn't make some of my lines long enough, so I'm making them longer as I go through and do this. Okay. And so this the same thing. I'm going to go around the top and the bottom, all the way around. The great thing is, if you had used pencil before, you can erase any of the lines that you make mistakes on or that you don't like. So maybe from here I decide I want to have a dot at the top of each of these, so I could come back and add that. And maybe I want to have a double line that comes down the middle of each of these. So I'm just really deciding what I want to do and what I want it to look like. I'm kind of rushing a little bit, but it's going to work so much better if you take your time. Okay, so that is the first step, is to go through and make your snowflake and add all the details, really thinking about outlining your picture and doing everything like that. All right, thank you and have fun. All right, so here comes the fun part, because we are going to make some patterns on our snowflake. And again, it's something that I don't want you to rush. I want you to take your time and do a good job. So we can do patterns by mixing shapes or by mixing different kinds of lines together. And you can see some of the patterns I did here with different triangles, and rectangles and dots and then circles. All right, so I think with this one, I am going to do a curve. So a half circle that goes that way, and then a half circle that goes this way. That I've got started there. And then I think I am going to add a contrasting color. So I'm going to come in and use just a little bit of pink there. Like before, this is something that I'd want to do all the way around. Okay, so we'll pretend like I've got that done all the way around, and I can move on to a different pattern. So maybe this pattern is going to go lines that go this way, lines that go straight, lines that go that way, lines that go straight. So you're just going to think about lines and shapes and continue to add your textures. All right, so there's my second texture, and here is my snowflake that is all the way finished. There's one more thing that I would do. As long as these lines are thick enough, we could actually cut this out, or we could even get some glitter and add some glitter to that. I hope that you guys enjoy it and take your time enjoying making the patterns.